What is social freedom? If we would put it concisely, I would describe it as freedom from the fear of being judged. It means freedom to basically live your own life, to do what is actually best for you. Of course, we don't want to hurt anyone. I assume if you're watching this, you're not the type of guys who is manipulative or usually gets into trouble because you are hurting people or you're going too far. I assume you're the kind of guy who is so afraid of making even one person uncomfortable for a tiny amount of time, a few seconds, a few minutes, that you don't take any social risks at all. You're watching this because you want to build a lifestyle, you want to build a social life. Guess what? Not everybody's going to be the same. You have to deal with different characters, different genders, men, women. Your social skills are highly attached to your level of social freedom. Social freedom is understanding that even if you do something that might upset someone, it's not so bad. It's being okay not being liked. It's being okay making somebody uncomfortable. And it's embracing that cringe. It's embracing that new outfit. It's embracing that new hobby. It's embracing that new girlfriend that just you really like, but maybe not everybody's approving of. Social freedom is so crucial in this whole process of personal development as a whole, because it literally is the gateway into everything else. If you don't develop social freedom to an acceptable level, you won't do any of the other things. It is crucial. So please pay attention in this video. Now, especially for street approaching, social freedom is crucial. And I assume you can understand why. It just takes guts, it takes balls to do it, which basically means you currently, if you're not approaching, you just don't have the social freedom that is required to do street approaching. A lot of the times people have social freedom in other senses. They say, okay, I've started this new hobby, I started this new job, or I changed my outfit, I changed my hair, I got a tattoo. Or they're even okay sitting in other types of pressures. They're being okay being a leader in a job position. They're being okay being super stressed from work. They can even go on stage. They can go to war. They can risk their life. They can go motorcycling. They can go skydiving. A lot of people are okay with those types of risks. But when it comes to approaching women on the street, for some reason, some primal mechanism kicks in, which is understandable to some degree. If we take the old, we all grew up in small tribes kind of way of explaining things, it makes sense. We grew up in tribes of around 100, 200 people. Apparently, don't quote me on it, but I heard that language was developed in order to communicate within the tribe about other people that are a little bit out of line. Basically, gossip. Gossip was developed to protect yourself, to be aware if somebody in that small tribe is going a little bit crazy. Fact that we want to fit in is quite natural. It's a survival mechanism. If that small tribe of 100 people living in the desert, living in the jungle, living in these dangerous times our brain developed in, we would be excluded from that tribe, well, we would literally die. I do understand that the thought of not fitting in is a survival mechanism and we want to fit in. It's human. But now we are talking about approaching women on the street in big cities in an anonymous way, in a respectful way, in a way that gives away the power. When you approach a woman on the street, you have to understand you are the vulnerable one, not she. She has all the power. You're not shouting at her, you're not grabbing her, you're not stopping her way in that sense. She always has multiple directions she can walk in. You are the guy opening your heart. You're the guy where she can say, yes, no, absolutely not, yes, please. On top of that, it's also understandable that it's a scary thing to do because it just really is a bit of a, I like Shay calls it, social special forces thing. Not a lot of people are doing street approach, which is a great thing, by the way, because imagine 100 times more guys would do it, you would have 100x the competition. So be grateful for the fact that it's hard and figure out how to do it anyway. But it really goes against social norms. You might sometimes hear people on YouTube or in your friend circle and your family say, oh, this is weird, you shouldn't do that. You know what I mean. That obviously layers on top and you really have to break free. But again, I want you to change your mindset around that. I want you to think that this is a good thing. It's good that people are against it because it gives you this incredible opportunity to break through something that other people are not breaking through. It gives you this power. It gives you this excitement to see, wow, I'm doing this thing that my brain kind of tells me not to do. And on a logical level, it makes sense, but my emotions say something else. But now I did it and it feels amazing. And after a few times, I even got a number. You're teaching your brain that you can change your paradigm and that you can do things that other people maybe told you not to do, and that you can even do things that your brain told you not to do. If you watch interviews with like ultra marathon runners, people who run 200, 300 kilometers in one race, insane distances, multiple marathons in the desert, those people are attuned to destroying what their brain tells them to do. They're used to just pushing through. Against all the odds, they make it happen. So you have to really develop this ultra runner, this warrior mentality to break through that. And on a personal note from me to you, I want to tell you how I experienced this transition. I was absolutely socially awkward, incapable. Around 8 years ago, I could not even give a compliment to an old lady on the street. And now I'm basically absolutely socially free. I can approach anybody all the time. Even though I'm having this amazing lifestyle now, I still do street approach when I see a hot girl on the street because I enjoy it now. And I found joy in that anxiety that I called it before. Now I call it an excitement. So what I want to tell you is, living in this new paradigm that I'm trying to explain you here is incredible. It's absolutely priceless. You cannot even imagine how better life, or lack of words, how more colorful and free and relaxed and peaceful it becomes when you live in such a reality. Because I remember living old paradigm, and I would go out and I would maybe buy a new jacket and I would wonder what people think, or I would say goodbye to a friend and then we walk the same way and it's awkward, or I say the wrong thing and it's in my mind for hours and hours, or I embarrass myself at a house party and then I think, oh, what does this girl now think about me? All those little goblins living in my brain, constantly shouting at me, constantly clogging up my focus with this shit. It is an incredible new paradigm that gives you so much freedom, so much more relaxation. So I really want you to understand this. To be honest, the way I learned it is just by consistent repetition of approaching, by always facing this fear over and over and over again, by recognizing that wall that tells you, no, you cannot do it. No, it's not okay. No, you shouldn't do it. No, you should not approach her. You shouldn't say that. You shouldn't stop her. And then just doing it again and again and again. Fitness guys are describing that, of just like pushing through the resistance, pushing through the pain, the muscles. How about pushing through yourself? How about pushing through your own mental barriers in that sense? And how just about pushing through the cringe and existing in the cringe and accepting it? I want you to understand, cringe is a good thing because every person on the planet is cringing. It's a normal thing. Nobody's cool all the time. There are no cool people. Cool people are the ones who are okay being cringy, who are okay relaxing in an uncomfortable situation. Cool people who are always trying to be cool, they will be found out. They will embarrass themselves. And then it's even worse because they were trying to be cool, but they still fucked it up. So today is the day where you will stop living in this coward, weak mentality, and where you're gonna turn into a warrior and you're gonna embrace the cringe. Cringe is a part of life and there's no escape from people judging you. So you might as well accept it. Because you have to accept that the situations where you might be in cringe will just never end. There will never be a time when everything just flows. A list here I wrote is like, you will be left chatting to a stranger at a wedding. You have awkward small talk in a lift at your new job and you don't know the people yet. You meet your girlfriend's dad for the first time and he makes an inappropriate joke and you need to deal with that. You have to approach a girl and her boyfriend shows up. It's never like not cringy, but there's ways to deal with it where it's totally fine, and there's ways to make a big deal out of that. Are you spilling something on your white shirt on a restaurant? People look at you, or oh my god, imagine you fall off the chair, or even something like that. Some drunk guy might be yelling at you at the train station, and then other people look at you. Oh my god, the drunk guy called him out and he shouted at him. How is he gonna react? This list goes on and on. I'm sure you can make up your own. It also goes into the escalation parts of seduction. You will do more approaches. You will end up on dates with girls. You have to sit with them. You have to maybe move a chair around. Maybe you want to order, but the waitress didn't hear you. Maybe she brought the wrong thing and you're a vegan and she brought you the meat dish and so on, so on. Then you take her home eventually. You don't know how to offer her a tea and how to sit next to her. And then she's on her period and you try to make it so obvious that you're totally okay with it, but really it came out wrong. Now you're like, oh my God, does she think I want to fuck her? I do want to fuck her, but it's not. There will be situations all the time, especially if you start interacting with more people, with different type of people. You're watching this because you want to build a lifestyle, you want to build a social life. Guess what? Not everybody's going to be the same. You have to deal with different characters, different genders, men, women. Your social skills are highly attached to your level of social freedom. This is why on the social pyramid, if you are the kind of guy who goes out and approaches women, you're instantly a level 3. You're a soldier because you are embracing the cringe. You are pushing against that wall. So this weakness of yours will become a strength. Don't call it social anxiety anymore. Don't call it approach anxiety. Learn that it's part of life. Accept that you are excited. You're about to meet a stranger. This is a good thing. Let's go. Let's charge into battle.